and make bigger and bigger reality tunnels. Once you look down at your reality tunnel, whether your reality tunnel is Ohio Methodist or New York Jewish or Marin County hippie or Tokyo capitalist Zen Buddhist or Iranian Muslim fundamentalist, once you get to the level where you're outside your reality tunnel looking down at it, you can compare reality tunnels, and then you're on a higher level of intelligence already, because you're no longer a conditioned mechanism just following the reality tunnel that was accidentally imprinted or conditioned, and you can start choosing between reality tunnels. So, as human lifespan has been increasing from the beginning, and now we're learning how to change intelligence too, it should not come as a big shock that there are a lot of researchers saying, how far can human lifespan be extended? Nobody knows, because the research is just in its infancy, but already there have been spectacular successes with experimental animals. The age of experimental rats has been doubled in one experiment. The age of fish has been tripled in another experiment. But if we have the immunological system at 80 that we have at 20, we might live 200 years, 500 years, nobody knows. There have been predictions by researchers in the field that lifespan can be extended to 500 years. Others have predicted to 1,000 years. And then an interesting factor enters the equation. If lifespan can be extended to even 140 years, to take a conservative figure, just doubling what it is now, and remember what it is now is already doubled what it was before the French Revolution. If it could be extended to 140 years, then everybody who would ordinarily die in 70 years will be around for 140 years. That means in the case of most of us, we'll be around for over 100 years more of scientific investigation into longevity. With 100 years more investigation, who knows what breakthroughs could happen. Maybe we will learn how to transfer consciousness into silicon. If we can find a way to translate the structure of my brain into silicon chips, then my consciousness would be in the silicon chips, and since silicon is potentially immortal, I would be immortal. Is that science fiction? Well, the atom bomb was science fiction once. I remember when I was in high school, I remember a lot of experts saying we'd never be able to reach the moon. And I remember other experts saying, oh, we can reach the moon, but it will take at least 100 years. So if you look at the longevity revolution from either a radical or a conservative perspective, you look at it radically, nobody knows what we might do by the year 2000, since knowledge is accelerating faster all the time. Look at it conservatively and say that all we're going to do is increase lifespan to maybe twice what it is now. That means we'll be living through so much more history and so many more breakthroughs that we have no idea how far it can be extended. It is quite thinkable that there are people in this audience right now who will never die. That's a statement that could never be made before in history. So, as we are moving off the planet and going into space, and lifespan is extending and we're learning how to change our consciousness, we are becoming an entirely different species. But that shouldn't be too much of a shock. We became an entirely different species in the way we behave, the way we related to one another, and in our whole cosmology when we graduated from being hunters and gatherers to the stage of the first Bronze Age agricultural civilizations. And we went through an equally astounding metamorphoses when we went from the agricultural age to the industrial age, and we're already in the process of a tremendous change now as we're going into the computer age. Nobody quite knows where it's taking us, except it's taking us to entirely new dimensions of organization and possibility. Going back to the first amoeboid creatures in the ocean and their path up to the amphibians and on to the saurians and onwards to the mammals. It has taken 4.5 million years to get where we are now, but we're moving faster all the time. The direction of evolution seems very likely to be that life is moving to the position where it will be omnipotent, where life can do anything it wishes to do. And in general, you can see that even on the surface of a primitive planet like this. From the time life started here, it has spread itself all over the planet, taking whatever form it has to take to adapt to any condition. Life has gotten to the top of the Himalayas. There are life forms up there. Life has gotten to Little America. Look at the sidewalk closely when you're taking a walk, and you see little bits of grass coming up between the cracks. Life has found a way to break through the concrete. Life seems to have a tremendous Dionysian exuberance about it, what Nietzsche called a will to power. And life seems to be aiming at nothing less than the attainment of divinity. We are part of the process of evolution from amoebas to cosmic immortals. What are cosmic immortals? Cosmic immortals are creatures who live anywhere in the universe they damn well please, travel as fast as they want to, and never die. And that's the idea of a god. A god goes anywhere, never dies, and moves as fast as a god wants to move. That is what we are evolving toward gradually. Most futurists do not make predictions that outrageous because futurists are trying to become respectable. Those of you who heard me in Boulder last night know that I have no desire to become respectable. I am in a much more dangerous business than that. I am trying to provoke new thoughts. I have just given you an outline of history and a projection forward of where I think it's going. That is my reality tunnel. That is the way I put the facts together. Anybody here can put the facts together and make a different gestalt out of them, a different reality tunnel, and make different projections. As a matter of fact, the Club of Rome is a group of Italian futurists who are very good at examining the trajectories of history and concluding that in 10 years everything is going to go smash and the whole civilization will collapse entirely. Since we don't know what the future is until the future gets at us, and the future only comes at us one day at a time, which gives us a chance to adjust to it. Imagine if it arrived a year at a time. Fortunately, we only have to deal with it one day at a time. Since nobody knows what it's going to be, it seems that it is one of those areas which in sociology is known as the area of self-fulfilling prophecy. If people have a definite belief about what the future is going to be, that tends to produce that type of future. On the individual level, if you decide I can't pass the examination, you won't study. Why bother studying if you know you can't pass? So that'll be a self-fulfilling prophecy. You'll fail the examination. If you think they wouldn't hire me for a job like that, you won't go in for the job interview. On the other hand, somebody who thinks I'm just right for that job and I'll make them realize it goes in and gets the job. So a great many things are created by self-fulfilling prophecies. So I think the Club of Rome, by creating this prophecy that the whole of civilization is going to collapse in 10 years and we're going to be wrecked and we'll have no energy and we'll be back in the Dark Ages, they have created a momentum which can very well lead to that conclusion. I think by the same token, the kind of optimistic future scenario that I've been outlining can also be a self-fulfilling prophecy. If a lot of people think, yeah, I would like to live indefinitely, maybe you're not ready for immortality yet. Maybe the thought is metaphysically staggering. But if you're thinking, I'd like to live a couple of 100 years, I don't want to die when I'm only 70, just starting to figure things out, and you think, yeah, I would like to get smarter, and yes, I would like to travel across galaxies like Captain Kirk. If you get excited by visions like that, and if enough people get excited by visions like that, and if you see far off ahead of those visions the evolution to cosmic immortality, then that too can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. It may have been innate in evolution from the beginning.